Hello everyone, my name's Steermonsky, and today I'm going to be showing you how to do your first MUN mission in Kerbal Space Program. Let's get right into it. Alright, so here is the rocket. I'm just going to go over it piece by piece so you guys can replicate it and know what everything does. So obviously at the top here, we just have the command pod. It's right here, the parachute on top, and then below that, decoupler, and then a heat shield. Then below this, we have a little a service bay. I like to use this because you can just put all the science experiments, as you can see, and 2 batteries to make sure we don't run out of electric charge. You close that off, and it just makes it nice and aerodynamic. It's out of the way. It's not going to make your aircraft, lean to one side. Sometimes they can do that if they're on the outside. Alright, below that we have a Science Junior. Now this is really helpful. It does add a little bit of extra weight, but you get like 100 science, so it is definitely worth bringing. Alright, then below that we have 2 large fuel tanks. It's going to be these here. And then we have these little, make sure that your landing legs clear the engine. Speaking of engines, this is a Terrier engine. That's this little one here. Then we have a decoupler. Make sure you have this between every stage. That can be an easy thing to forget. And then we have this stage here. This is a large fuel tank and a medium fuel tank, and then 4 large ones on the side. And then we have 4 more Terrier engines. This stage, which is 3 large fuel tanks with then 2 large fuel tanks and a medium one. And then these 4 engines are the Reliant, and then this one in the middle is the swivel engine. Make sure you have that swivel one in the middle because that has more control. That'll help you control the direction of your rocket. And then strapped to the side are 4 of these side boosters, 4 of those, and it's these, the Thumper solid rocket booster with a little nose cap that's down here at the top. And then that's it. It's really simple. And before you launch, make sure you double check all the state because it does put them in stages automatically, but it usually gets it wrong. So just double check to make sure that 4 solid rocket boosters fire first, and then all those engines at the bottom and the little separators for the solid rocket boosters are next. Then make sure all of that fires then, and then these together, and then make sure you have the little separator up at the top, and then the parachute. And then that's it. You're good to go. Alright, so here we are on the launch pad, but before we launch, we have to make a quick save. That is number 1 thing to remember is use quick saves. Anytime you're about to make a big move, like launching off, or going to the next planet, or coming back, make sure you use quick saves. It will save you so much time and frustration. Then toggle SAS. You can also hit T on your keyboard, and then we're going to throttle up and then hit go. Alright, solid rockets are almost out, and alright, there we go. Also, quick tip, you can hit Alt L on your keyboard, Alt plus L, and that'll lock your stages. The little light turn to purple or pink. So that means if you hit the space bar, you won't accidentally activate the next stage without meaning to. That can be a real frustration. Just gonna angle ourselves ever so slightly. Stabilize. Alright. So just sort of carefully coax it along. Alright, so now we are, as you can see, we hit the little orbit thing and we have cleared the Earth's atmosphere, which is at 70 kilometers. So now we're just gonna, oop, and there's the stage. Oop, gotta unlock the stages. Alright. As you can see, if you click this here, we are above 70 kilometers. So we're just going to try to angle it right along the 90-degree line and then reset the SAS. Alright. And then we're good to go. Just hold this. Looks like we're on track to get to orbit. We got plenty of fuel left. As you can see, this apoapsis here is kind of getting a little far away. So we're just going to turn the engines off, warp up to we're a little bit closer to that so it can be a little bit more efficient of a burn. Hit prograde, wait for it to go. Alright. Rev back up. Alright, we're almost in orbit now. And we're going to try to make the apoapsis and periapsis about the same. They don't have to be perfect, but that'll just help make the maneuver node maker work a little bit better. Alright, that's close enough. So now what we're going to do is we're going to come over here to this little maneuver tool. It's this one here. Just click on that. That's set to the MUN. And then just hit create and it'll make a little thing for you. And then make sure box that create alarm is clicked and then just create the node. So as you can see, there's a little bit of timer here. So we can just come over to time warp, set that at the max, and then the clock will stop our time warp when it's ready for the maneuver. Hit maneuver on the little SAS thing. We're a good time relative to the burn. So do it. Ooh, also about now would be a good time to make another quick save. Then we burn away. And so once this says it's good, then we'll double check it to make sure it's actually got us where we want to go. Alright, the next stage. Alright, we're going to stop it. Then we're going to come out here, we're going to click on the MUN, hit focus view, and then this orange line here, this is where we're going to be. So we want to make that just a little bit closer. So we'll keep burning just a little bit longer, and then, yeah, about right there. That's pretty good. Then what we're going to do is we're going to make another timer. We're going to create an alarm. Go to manual, and we're going to add SOI change, sphere of influence. Alright, we're going to add alarm. As with the last timer, we can just hit time warp, and it'll automatically stop it when we get to whatever time we set it, close that off, and then we can just warp up just a little bit till that gold line turns blue. There we go. Alright, so now we are in the capture of the moon. So we have this little maneuver mode, just drag it down, and really you don't have to follow that, you can just get rid of it. Just warp to where it says periapsis, just warp there. Just hit retrograde, which is this one right here. Just turn on the engines, and then zoom out and watch this creep down, 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 and then when it gets to about where we want, turn off the engines. Alright, that's about good. Alright, so this brings us to this one thing you want to keep in mind when you're landing on the moon, is you want a flat area, and you want an area that's in the sun. So as you can see, this side is what's lit right now, and we should be able to land before this goes into darkness, and also we want to land on a flat area. So probably like here and here, just like these big craters, we don't want to land there. So now what we're going to do is, honestly, we can just keep dragging this down a little bit more, like that, okay. And then we're just going to warp to the other side. Alright, then the same thing, hit retrograde, wait for it to swing over there, drag it down. We're going to warp just to right there, and then we're going to land on this. Carefully, carefully. Alright, that's good enough. Whoops. Now as you can see, that went a little bit too much. So now that's in the dark. We don't want that. So we're going to swing right back around, fix it up real quick. Tap it just a little bit. You can see that going. Alright, right about there. Okay, so this is just above the surface of the moon. Sure, we're not going to hit anything. Alright, and then here's what we're going to do. We're going to make a save, and then I guess we'll just warp to right about here. Alright, retrograde. We want to slow down. Full power, and this will start slowing us down. Uh-oh, it's about to throw us in this big crater. Well, I guess, really it doesn't matter, because I think that's the crater wall there, so if we can, yeah, I guess we'll just land in this big crater. It's got a nice flat bottom. Make sure you don't land on the edge right there, because that's obviously a very steep hill. But I think we should be able to slow down just before we get. Also, at this point in time, you can come up with this little green button, hit that, and that'll extend the landing legs. Okay, now that we're kind of slowing down, as you can see, it's getting smaller and smaller. We're just going to throttle down a little bit. And just kind of let ourselves slowly fall to the surface. Might want to start slowing it down just a little bit. We want to land at like 3 or 4 meters a second, not too fast at all. So as we get closer to the surface, we start revving up that engine. All right. There we go. Nice and gentle touchdown. See, that's why we have those little girders to make the legs stand out, because we probably would have fallen over. Those aren't even touching. Whoops. Well, you can land this without legs, apparently. That's an oversight. So if you're doing this yourself, make sure you move those legs a little bit down. Alright, now we're going to run the Science Junior kit. Now we can open up this area right here. Just reach in there. We can log the temperature. Now we're going to go on EVA. So just left click on the little crew hatch, EVA. And then we're just going to hit spacebar, jump off. Hit RCS, rocket pack of sorts. So I'll go over the controls for this. So basically, shift is going to be up, control is down, and then W is forward, S is backward, and then obviously there's left and right, as well as I think there's a roll. E and Q, roll U. Just going to right click on them. We're going to take surface samples. Make sure you don't click remove helmet. He will die. I don't know why those two are right next to each other. An EVA report, and we're going to plant a flag. And now we just have to make it back to the ship. And hit RCS. We're going to hit shift to go up, up, up. Easy does it. And hit W to go forward. And then F to grab it. Right, now, before you take off, make sure you make another quick save. Alright, and so because this is the moon, there's obviously no atmosphere. So you don't really have to deal with that too much. So basically, as soon as you can kind of get above the surface and start to make our ascent. And honestly, whoopsie daisies. As you can see, we overspent fuel a little bit. Probably could have made that a little bit cleaner. It's okay. I think we have enough to get home. How much is that? 134. Okay. Alright, 200 meters a second, and that will get us. Alright, so that's a real big orbit, but I think we can make it work. That's only 200 meters a second. We got 700. So I think we should be good to go. Right, then we're just going to hit the maneuver node, and we'll just do it. There we go. Alright, that looks like a good orbit. Okay. Actually, we can come up here, do the clock thing again. Once again, sphere of influence change, add alarm, hit time warp. Alright, so now we're going to run a few more science experiments as well as collect the science we've had. Now, you can do this while you're in orbit around the moon, and you might get some more science from that. So, before you make your maneuver to get back to Kerbin. So we're going to open this up, run this experiment, got a little bit of science, and then what we're going to do is we're going to EVA Jebediah, let go to the RCS. Alright, and we're just going to carefully maneuver him over here. And we're going to collect all the data. You have to be kind of close to do this. And we have to collect all the data because we're not going to collect these experiments. They're just going to crash into Kerbin surface, so we need to make sure we get all the data. Back to the space capsule, grab that to make our return. We hit retrograde, and then we're just going to hit go. Watch this slowly. Get back to Earth. Now what we want... Ooh, interesting. This is unforeseen. Well, this could be a problem. Okay, so this might not go too well, because we're going to be going really fast when we reach Kerb. We will see how this goes. We might have to try again. So we're just going to warp up till we get closer. We have a very steep re-entry. Okay, now we're going to make sure, hit retrograde, use the last little bit of fuel. Okay, ooh, baby. Okay, we're going to let that go. Okay, slowing down. Are we slowing down fast enough? I think we are. Yeah, there we go. See, this craft, it's just the space capsule. There's nothing else on it, so it's nice and light. If we had a bigger spacecraft, taking that sharp of a re-entry probably would not have worked. But it's nice and light. It worked out in the end. And went a lot faster. There we go. We did it. We went to the Mun and back. Alright, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, leave a like, and good luck getting to the Mun.